What's good, guys? Terrence here, or my name is Terrence. If you don't know my name, um, just a quick video. I thought I would just use this as a way to be able to talk about life and getting older and what to do when you are currently younger right now. Um, so it was kind of a reflection of what I wish I knew when I was younger. Um, I think this video would have benefited me a lot 8 years ago, so I think that says a lot. I'm not in a bad place by any means. Like, I'm blessed to be where I'm at. Like, I am 23 years old. I work 2 jobs, one being a college job at the current moment before I graduate, and then I have a main job at the YMCA, local to where I live in the city, and yeah, I'm in college currently until this very moment, until my graduation, and then I've done like freelance photography and stuff like that throughout the past 2-3 years. So I'm pretty blessed, I'd say, to be able to have the life that I live, and I've achieved a lot in my life, right? But I'm 22. I will be turning 23 in April 12th of this year, which officially leaves me at unk status, as the kids say nowadays, because I'm literally not a kid or a teen anymore. The kids and teens of today are calling a 23-year-old unk. So, say what you will, but I think it says a lot about society and how much COVID has just effed up our perception of time, because literally anybody is just unk now. Like, people in our early 20s are unk by 15-year-olds. Speaking of that, I was once 15 years old, 8 years ago, and recently I was watching a video like 2-3 weeks ago. It was from this YouTuber called Yankee. Really love his videos. Really recommend that you watch his stuff. And I remember leaving a comment saying, even for me, I'm turning 23. The video was titled Achieving Unk Status. I remember it was like Yankee talking about, how he was turning 30, and basically made a brief description about what he had wanted to do better or wish he had learned in his 20s. I'm currently in my 20s, like, currently. So that was sort of like a good video talking about me being in my 20s. For me, I guess. But I left a comment saying, even for me, I'm turning 23, and yet I feel hella older than I probably should be. And other people are calling me unk now, and I'm 23, or I'm turning 23. But yeah, I feel it's easy to feel pressure during our 20s to achieve everything. I know for me, even though I've achieved a lot, I still feel this pressure. But I have to remember that it's not the end of the world. Fair comment. And then I have a 15-year-old that commented under my comment on the video saying, any advice for a 15-year-old? Much appreciated. And then I left a really long comment. I didn't see this reply under my comment 3 weeks ago until literally today, 4 hours ago. And this was after like a therapy session or something like that I had during work. So, anyways, I thought, why not use this as a video to rewind back to my 15-year-old self, or any 15-year-old that probably is watching this, that maybe might be in a certain place of, worrying about so much, and like, oh my god, will this girl like me? Will I work? Will I do this, that, and the third, yada yada. This is for any 15-year-old or any person that happens to be 15 and probably is a bit confused, lost, whatever. I was there once 8 years ago, and use this as sort of, I guess, as a love letter to my 15-year-old self, and being able to sort of go back in time and talk about things that I wish I would have known at 15. I don't want to make this video too long, but we'll just get straight into it. 1, you will not be this young ever again. At 15 years old is probably when you're going to have the most freedom in your life to be able to try out new things, try out sports, try out YouTube, try out working out, exercising, this, that, and the third. You could try out new water, right? You're not going to be worrying about if it's going to be destroyed by ChatGPT or whatever. Well, maybe you might have to worry about that, but you don't have to think about that if you're just drinking Trader Joe's water. The point is, you have so much time right now, and probably more time in your life than I do currently. Being at 23, I am like, I'm like working 2 jobs. I go to college, and I'm about to graduate. And, you know, I guess you could say in a way, because I'm in college, or I'm about to graduate from college, right? Like, even though I'm currently still a college student, right, I have a bit of free time in my 20s in a way to be able to still have the leeway to try new things or to do things I never done before. But once I graduate, the resources, the things to try, the things to do isn't going to really be there as much as it used to be. You know, and that's why being at 15 years old, you're going to have the most free time to do anything, because the most that you're going to worry about is like homework and coming home from school or being in school, dealing with teachers that you don't like, and dealing with like PE class that you just get to like mess around in. Those are like probably the bare minimum of your worries. Plus, a girl that you may like doesn't like you or something, you are wondering how you get her back, whatever. That's gonna be at least like most of your worries in high school. And soon you'll realize when you're like 23 that that's like nothing to worry about, but like right now that's probably your most biggest worry. Point is, you have so much time and so much less worry about things. Utilize that time efficiently. When I say do not take this time for granted, I mean do not take this time for granted, because this will be the most free that you will ever be. Try out new things, learn new languages, try out new sports, all this type of stuff. Like, learn as much as you can, younger as you can. When I was 15, like, I wasn't really doing a lot, I feel like, in my life. I mean, the only thing I was really probably doing was like watching YouTube videos all day. And I mean, I guess now I feel a bit of, you know, nostalgia in a sense for like being 15 and looking back at YouTube videos. But at the end of the day, like, I had so much time to be able to like just do things and like try out different things, you know, in that time period. I mean, I did when I was younger, but in high school, middle school, I was kind of just doing whatever I feel like, right? But, and not that I feel regretful about everything I've done up until this point, because I'd say around when I was 17, 6 years ago, when COVID was in the picture, right, I still had decided to sort of do things in my life at that point. I was starting to work out, you know, during COVID, and that taught me so much about just like my life. And I feel like I started to really, you know, get more into improving my life, improving my mindset, improving my way of living. And I feel like this was all kind of matching towards my college years. When I was 19, was when I started working. I started college by then, in my freshman year of college, and I always look back at being 19 as like the year where so much happened in my life, and I felt like I was able to learn so many new things. I tried so many new things. I was trying out soccer, I played new sports, all that kind of stuff, right? But I wish I did that more so when I was 15, because at that point I didn't have nothing else other than just school. And I'm sure that if you're someone that's 15 or whatever, you have nothing else other than the school to just focus on and worry about, and girls to impress. Don't do everything for girls though. Trust me when I say it's not going to pan out well in the long run. But if that's your main motivator to at least do something with your life, do it. Try out so many things, and utilize this time to the best of your advantage, because when I say it, and I said it before, but you will not be this young again. People that are probably in their 30s, 40s will probably tell me that they wish that they could be 23 or 22 in my age. Because I'm still relatively in college, and I've been in college in the last 4 or 5 years. But I wish I was 15. Heck, even younger than that. Because that was the time that I literally had so much time in my hands. And even though I'm grateful that I still, in a way, utilized the time that I did at this point, and that I've been able to have done so much and achieve so much, I still wish that I was, 15, and that the things that I've done in the last 5-6 years that I did when I was 15. I feel when you're that young, heck, even younger, and you're keeping up with skills, or you're at least learning how to be consistent with some sort of skill, and you keep that up for a relatively long period of time, you automatically stand out to so many people, and you become a lot more invaluable as a person. A lot of adult life, and especially when you're in society, when you're participating in society, is going to be you needing to be valuable to other people. A lot of people are going to look at you for what you offer to the table, what you give. I think it's important that you have as much skills as you can to be able to stand out amongst a crowd, and to overall have opportunities, whether it's a new job, or a new person you meet, that girl you impress, whatever. You get to be able to show off that I can play soccer, and you could be able to be in tryout for the sports team in high school or college, and you get invested in soccer, and you do that in college, whatever. If you're doing computer science, you learn that at a young age. You learn how to code and things like that, right? The more consistent you keep up with that, you literally can make apps, and who knows, once you get out of high school, you're probably gonna join Google. Working out, you learn at a young age how to do compound movements and to do isolation movements to bring out certain body parts, right? And you'll literally be a skinny nerd in freshman year, but then in senior year, you're a Chad getting all the girls. Don't be Klavicker, by the way. But point I'm trying to make is that when you have as much skills as you do, or when you have as much to offer, people are going to look at that and like that. And that's a lot of what will serve you so much in the adult world. So definitely learn a lot of skills as you can at the free time that you have at this age. Do not take it for granted. And last thing I'll say, and I said it before, but time will go by fast. I was 15 8 years ago. By this time, I'm 14, turning 15. And I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember everything that happened during that time when I was young like it was yesterday, right? And just how different life was. I was in high school in the city. Every day was just me taking a bus to school, walking up the ramps, being in classes, bored out of my mind, probably being a nuisance. But I somehow passed all my classes. Low-key suffered in some classes. It was rough, but most of my life was just simple. I come home, watch YouTube videos, be just a degenerate, right? I didn't really do a lot in my life, I feel like, but, I was, like, listening to, like, depressed emo rap music. I was listening to, like, X and Peep. I mean, still legends. Rest in peace to them and Juice WRLD, etc. But I feel like I didn't really do much. I mean, maybe I was doing music, but, like, I wasn't really doing much. So I feel like what's important, like, that was, like, 7-8 years ago, right? Now I'm, like, 23 or turning 23. I feel like me saying I'm 23 is already me accepting that I'm old, even though I probably feel young or whatever. But I'm 22, turning 23, and life is so much different. I'm a lot more busier than I am. I'm a lot more productive, I'd say, than I was at one point. I even though I do work 2 part-time jobs, it is going to feel a bit worrisome with me graduating, knowing that it's not going to be the same, that times will be different. The dependence and the resources I had in college isn't going to be the same once I graduate. So, I'm not saying that I'm in a bad position. No, like I said, I'm very blessed. Just worries that I have. That's something for later in the video. But point is, you don't have these much of worries right now. These types of worries that are in my head currently at this moment are not something that I thought when I was 15. And I hope that that's not something that you have to worry about when you're 15 either. Maybe when eventually you're in college and you get to graduate, that you get to that point. But the point I'm trying to make is, at this age of 15, utilize it to the best of your ability. Do the best that you can with that, time and age, and just use your youth to your advantage. If you could learn a new skill, learn it. If you could be curious about things, learn it. And as you grow up, do not lose your youth. At the end of the day, you're always going to learn something. You're always going to meet new people. You're always going to do these things, right? But I think what you can learn at this age is to know that you have to just do the best you can and to not let things get ahead of you. The things that you worry about now aren't going to be worries that you have 8 to 10 years from now. So don't take everything so personally and don't take everything so seriously. I struggle with that even at 22, but I'm still here. I'm healthy and I'm grateful to be where I'm at. Be grateful, pray to God, and just be happy that you are where you are now. No matter what stage of life you are. It doesn't matter if you're 15, 22, or 43, heck, even 73. Just be grateful for where you are in life right now. And that's about it. I hope that if that 15-year-old that left a comment on my video ever saw this, that he sees this one day, and that he's 15 right now. Hopefully he sees this down the future. And yeah, I just thought that this would be an important video to make. Any 15-year-old that watches this, hope this is helpful for you. Peace.